Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. So, Super Car Science is over, and now you may have a bunch of these Konigseggs sitting in your garage and thinking, well, what am I going to do with these? Are these any good for anything? I mean, you probably put in quite a bit of resources to get these cars, and you may not have enough resources to have them fully maxed, but these cars are not that bad. In fact, all of them are half decent with minimal upgrades to race in live. I'm not here to show you the tunes and setups this time, but I wanted to showcase quickly the capabilities of these cars in live, one after the other. I'm going to start doing a series of live racing, most likely as a live stream, showcasing these cars that goes from alphabet A model to Z, and we can go through all the cars in T5 in the game, maybe even some T4s. But unfortunately, I'm going to skip the T3 and T2s, and T1s for that matter. But we have almost 300 plus T5s in the game. We can kind of take a look at some of the ones I built because I find them to be good in live. And some cars you might be surprised at. But let's take a look at these Konigseggs here. I'm not going to wait around. Let's start challenging people. It really doesn't matter who I challenge in this lobby. The reality is I have a pretty good chance of beating almost anybody in here. Now, obviously, LB Silhouette will beat Dyno by about 3/10, just like the LB Aventador. That could be why he is quite confident in taking me on. But the reality is I can do the same thing with my car that he can do with his. So it becomes a game of who's got the better tune here, right? I can still keep it very close, win, and move on. That is the beauty of the Konigseggs. They lobby very well when they have low performance point high evo setups. It also essentially can outrun opponents pretty straightforward. So it becomes one of those, I could race you, I could probably beat you, but I don't have to beat you. And I'm actually running about 2/10 slower than Dyno on that run, 3/10 actually, and still beat him. So that gives you an idea of just how deadly these cars can be. I call the Absolute an absolute victor in live because that's really what it is. It's an extremely good car in live racing. Now, in moving forward, I mean, that's a 9.143. That's a nice run out of him. But the reality is, I'm actually running a 9.1 car in this lobby slower than I need to run to win. But that happens a lot when you first bring a car into lobby. We're just showcasing, so we're not going to go too much into multiple races here, but I'll give you the dyno real quick and you can judge for yourself. This car, dynos 9.108, and I ran a 9.4 the first time to beat him. The second time I gave him the run, I kind of feel bad I took his money, but this car will run easily 8.6s in that lobby if needed. So while it dynos a 9.1, it's actually even stronger than that. The Jesko is no different. This is yet another car that has very similar structure at low performance point high evo setups, okay, at 9.2s, and it too will do much better than that if needed. So let's take this car into live, and then we'll go through the Regera Rs, and we'll take a look at the Agera and also the 1-1, all of which have its own way of beating Dyno. All right. So back at it, I am now here with the Jesko, the regular one, not the Absolute. Being a slightly lower dyno, or slower dyno, it's going to match to a slightly different set of cars. Let's go ahead and take on this Agera. This looks like a 1-1. If it's a 1-1, it might be down-tuned, so we'll see how aggressive he goes. But at the risk of bumping myself, I may take him on and just beat him, or he may surprise me with a severe down tune and beat me, but we'll figure it out in a second. Okay, so off we go, and I am way ahead. I can beat him, but I'm going to let him have it, mainly because I wanted just to see on the first run, like I said before in other videos, I don't like to outrun my dyno by too much. Oh wow, look at that. That would have been actually a big loss for him because, as you know, my dyno's a 9.2. I'm right now in some lobby against a car that's 9.6 and is willing to risk money. That surprises me a bit. I don't really think my advantage will be that great, but seeing that I have a in SXR in here. I guess I am in the 9.6 lobby. That's really surprising. That is ridiculous for matchmaking, because not only am I matching to cars that are 4/10 slower than my dyno, or at least 3/10, it can also severely run under that number. So I'm not sure what happened there, but hey, I'm not complaining. Let's go with a 0 RPM drop. Will give me a little bit less of a run. Oh, this guy's going to give me a run for my money, that's for sure. Let's see what he ran though. It could be the other guy's just a fluke and I'm actually in the right lobby here. Oh, I am in the right lobby. Okay, so this time I'm going to launch a little bit late so I can get my good run in. And this one ran a 9.3. Still slower than my dyno, no problem. All I got to do is run a little faster and I'll take care of it. Key here is launching a little bit on the late side. Like that. And off we go. And this time, I should have no problem staying ahead. What I'm going to do is slow down just a hair on the end. Boom, done. That should be a 9.2 run. Maybe even a 9.3 run. 9.317, no problem taking that from the other player. Of course, he is a newer player in a 9.5 lobby doing 9.3, so he is competitive. But the Jesko, another card that is very deadly in live at lower performance point, high evo setups. Very easy to run, down tunable. Oh, I see one of the Asolut guys out here. Shout out to Celtic Road Warrior, making big points. Let me see here. Who else do we have? Alright, so I don't see anybody else in here really ready to go except for Alex, but he's running a win-loss. So I'm not going to challenge him. Let's go ahead and move on to the next call. Oh, wait, somebody challenged me. I'll take it. So after this race, I'm going to move on to the next car, and we'll take a look at another Koenigsegg in live racing. That's a ghost package. At this speed, that ghost package is upgraded pretty decent amount, which means it'll beat dyno by a little bit, but it's not going to be a severe amount. Maybe about 10th or 2 driven properly. And it will have pretty decent top speed, so it's going to come at me pretty hard at the end there, but in this case I had no problem outrunning him. I think I should have slowed down more, but see, 9.6, 9.291. Now if I know I'm in this lobby and I'm having not much of an advantage, I probably will continuously run slower rather than as fast to keep my car competitive. I'm going to take one slow run before I leave the lobby, because you don't want to leave the lobby with a super fast average. So we're going to take a slow run here. Probably, maybe even let this guy edge past me, depending on how much I slow down. But I should still be able to control this run pretty well. All right. Relatively quick shifts, but right. Kind of controlled it a little bit better there. I kind of expected him to catch me, but he didn't. But it gives me that slow run I need for my average, and out of the lobby we go. So that's a 2 losses, few wins. But again, I could take the wins, but you got to control the launches. You have to control your runs. And again, I didn't want to take right from the get-go. So both Jesko Absolute and Jesko quite effective in live. Let's move on to the Regera CSR2 edition. This is running, again, a very low-level upgrade tune. 3 upgrades only, tire nitrous trans, maximum evo, and should matchmate quite well even against a Ferrari F40. Now the F40 also does quite well in this lobby, depending on how the setup is. That's a newer player, I would think, so I'm not as worried about a super tune out of him. Okay, but hey, who knows? I mean, he may surprise me by catching me at the end of the track and giving me a headache. What I do is I watch them come before I start accelerating, and of course mistimed it just a little bit. Now, does this mean I'm always going to lose? No, because he only running 11.8. This car dyno's 11.4. So what I did is, there again, I ran slow just to kind of see where I'm at in the lobby, and now I'm going to run it a little better. Regera is a little sensitive to the launch. If you don't launch it perfect, you're going to lose at least a 10th there. But given the lobby I'm in and given the dyno I have, I think even a slight off launch isn't going to kill me. Let's take on one of these guys. They're good cars, very good for Tempest. Not as much of a dyno buster in here, but some guys drive them real well, and they match make pretty well. And it looks like I froze. Yes, I definitely froze. Yep, CSR quit on me. No problem. Alright, heading back into live. Again, the game kind of quit on me there. Right back here to the same, looks like the same lobby, I think. Can't remember who I was facing the other time, but shouldn't be that far off. Wow. That's a lot of RP. This guy must race a lot. Let's try him. So that's the new race refused. Okay, that's the new Aston Martin, I believe, Vantage Spider. But he didn't want to race. Let's race him. This is a good car in this lobby. The 370Z Rocket Bunny. No, wait, that's a 350Z Rocket Bunny with the HP motor, the higher horsepower 350Z motor. Not that it makes a difference in this game. That's just a tidbit on a 350Z is all it is. Alright, let's see. Here we go. Again, these Z's are pretty good in here. They're relatively aggressive and can really give you a run for your money. Ah, darn it, slow down too much. I gotta stop slowing down so early. I can always do it later in the track, but let's take him again. Oh, wait a minute. I may need gas. Well, let's see if he'll take my race again. That was a close one, mainly because I sandbagged a little too much. Again, the Regera with less gears, a little harder to control the slowdown, but that's where I like the Jesko better because it has more gears and you can slow down more effectively without slowing down too much. Okay, so not a problem. Again, we're running on a 11.4 dyno here, so I'm not really hurting myself too much here. I can still make this a good race, except this time I'm going to go a little further out and then slow down early and then hopefully, yep, there we go. So that gives me my controlled win. He's still running 11.9, I'm running 11.7. I'm running 0.3 again slower than dyno. Okay, now I'm going to have to put some gas in, I think. Right. Alright, so Regera CSR edition, minimal upgrades, maximum Evo, specialized tune for just running really at dyno, but you can run slightly under dyno with this setup, but it doesn't really need it because it's matchmaking so well that basically I'm running opponents that are well slower than my dyno all the time, which is great if you like doing that. Okay, again, yep, still got it. Again, learning how to control the car is part of the game here, especially with cars that are this matchmaking this well. You want to keep it in this advantageous lobby for as long as possible, milk it for as long as you can. Eventually you're going to get moved up, but not from just winning, but from running too fast. That's usually what really pushes you out of these lobbies. I can keep this car, if I don't accept guys that are going to destroy dyno in there, or just lose to them instead, I can stay in this lobby probably for quite a while. Okay, next one up, Ghost Edition. Set up very similar to the Regera, with a slight adjustment overall. I think it runs 12.2s on the dyno. The Regera was a 11.4 on the dyno, so it's a little different. Okay, but that's leveraging some stage 6s. This is not. I think this one is stage 4, in fact, only, on 3 upgrades, which are the trans nitrous and tire. Okay, let's take on a tough opponent right from get-go. This is a tough car because it beats dyno by up to 0.3. So if I can beat him in a fair race, then I am doing good. Now, assuming again you're going to get a good launch out of this car, that's going to be the trick. So this car, again, with its kind of long gearing, it's going to be a little tough to launch, but once you launch it, you'll be all right. Now, watch that car. Notice how it's like really way up there on me. That's the thing about that Porsche. It's real tough to beat that Porsche. Um, you know, I was able to do it. I got past him, but again, he's running well under dyno. I ran even further under dyno to get that. Wait a minute. What was my dyno? 12.2. So he's probably running under dyno already, and I'm running 12.4s on a 12.28. Same deal. Low performance point, high evo. Matchmaking's giving me super favorable lobby right now. Look at this guy. He's willing to bet 100K because knowing that his car beats dyno and lobbies well, he thinks that he's, definitely going to make that money, which he probably will. Okay, same thing here. See another guy with cash money. The thing about going into these slower lobbies and betting is, I know most of you guys that are doing this can also know the same tricks that allows you to crush dyno in essence. So I'm not going to bet you, but newer players may not know that, and they probably will bet you. And there's advice to newer player. If you're not sure, don't bet the money. If you are that cocky about it, just be prepared to lose it. All right, here we go. Okay, so this car is one of those. It does the best if you just bang second gear and hit nitrous. It's one of those cars. I have a really long gear. I'm just gonna slow down into first a bit and then take that win, and it is 12.8 run against a 12.9 on a 12.25 dyno or 2.8 dyno. Okay, so far so good. These Konigseggs are. Oh, he wants another race. He might have launched badly. Let's go. Again, the more slow runs I do in this lobby, the longer I do it, the more locked in my car is by average. So I would never need to really hit my dyno, and I would always be able to get good runs. I mean, that kind of is how it works out. Oh, he did a lot better this time. He's polling. He's going to pull on me on the end when he shifts into third. Here we go. I could shift into third as well. Oh well. So that time he launched probably perfect. Did a 12.4. Okay, so that 12.8 was kind of a bad run for him. It's fine, but obviously I didn't leverage my third gear for most of that race. I could leverage it, but I kind of want to stay in this lobby. So, all right, so that is the Ghost package. Also, again, you're lobbying with an advantage. You can also run it even more aggressively. Rather than doing it in live, I'm just going to do a test run here and try to give you the optimal run possible out of this car so you kind of understand what I'm talking about. Okay, we already know the dyno is a 12.2. This car should at least hit dyno, but it should actually be able to hit better than dyno. All right, let's see what it does when I go all out. 2-to-do, shift, and here we go. 11.9. Probably a 12.0 run. 12.008 is what I could run in any lobby with this car. Obviously, the fastest I had to do was about a 12.4 to win those races. So you're actually running slower than dyno just to win. All right, so what are we on to now? Ah, yes, the Gemera. The Gemera I did a video on, which shows you could do like a funny single gear dyno beating tune. Doesn't really change much here. 10.1s. I can definitely do better than that if I want to, but let's just see how it lobbies. And this one though is not like the other cars. High performance point, low evo. It's not going to have an advantageous lobby. Plus, this car will bump very easily. So this becomes one of those you really have to run very carefully to make sure that you're going to be able to control your car and win it without bumping it, because it's going to be easy to bump. Okay, let me see who we can take on here. I see this car here. Let's try him. He's a dyno beater, but he's also running a win-loss. Who knows how hard he's going to run it. Let's see how it goes. But again, if I have to beat dyno by a substantial amount to beat him, that wouldn't bode well for my car in the long term. All right, let's go ahead and see if I can get a good launch out of it. Now, this car, also, if you don't get a really good launch like that, oops, don't need second gear, first gear. If you don't do it right, what's going to happen is you're going to end up hurting yourself quite a bit. Now, I did a 10-0 there, and I lost. See, this car does not get a lobby advantage. Now, I'm running about a tenth under. He's running a little over 2/10 from that time, which is about right for that car. Can I beat him if I did everything right? Probably. I could run a 9.8. But this is a car that I don't quite like because of the lower point, high performance point, low evo setups. So as you can see, you don't get any lobby advantage. You basically have to go in and beat dyno. Try not to kill this car too quick. So what I'm going to do is I'll again do the test run method to show you the optimal run for the car based on the tune and the dyno. Because live racing, I'm probably not going to use this one much, simply because it won't stay in that lobby long enough to be good. Wait, I keep doing that. I should not shift. Just hit nitrous. Just hit nitrous, Max. Okay. All right. Anyway, so that was a bad thing. I shifted to second before I shifted back to first. So I lost a bit of time there. But as you can see, the 9.9 really isn't impossible for this car. In fact, it's capable of probably 9.8 something if I didn't make that mistake and shift into second. So that's the Gemera. So the Gemera, unlike the others, I'm not too keen on because I don't think it's going to, in the long run, be as successful in live. Now, this car also doesn't get really a lobby advantage. What it does have is it has a dyno advantage. So it's a dyno beater, 8.8. Okay. We'll do the test run first before we take it into live. This is a little different method of showcasing it. Because again, this is one of those cars that does bump, and therefore I do not want to take this car and run it too hard in live. But let's see how it does here. Whoa. Whoops. Forgot about that tune. Need to get out of that first gear quick. But anyway, it won't matter that much. I don't think it hurt it or anything. But let's take a look at the time. 9.285. Dyno is 8.8. So needs to be tweaked a little bit here to get a good run out of it. So we're going to tweak this because that acceleration was kind of crazy. All right, 9.1, that'll work. All right, so do another run. Again, this car, if you add more tire and drop a little bit of other parts, you can get a nice dyno buster tune out of it. But let's see what we can do here. Okay, here we go. Gears are much longer now, so it's easier to kind of control it. So that was 9.2 on a 9.1 dyno. Not so good. Let me tweak the parts and go ahead and set this up with a dyno beating setup so that I can better control the car in live. Now this car is a grip tune dyno beater, so all you have to do is watch what parts you have, and you would want to drop something that will allow you a little bit of dyno buster tune. Something like that will do the job. All I have to do now is readjust the final drive, and I should be able to tweak the car to do what I need it to do. And this is with stage 5 tire. Obviously stage 6 tire makes it easier. Let's see where the drop is. It's going to be here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Already dropped. Right here. Gonna do that. Come on, work with me here. 10.8. That should be 10 points, and this is 10.1. 10.8. Let's go race. All right, so 10.8 dyno, 10.1 is what I could possibly run. 10.2 is probably, because with that adjustment, you're not going to run the 10.1, but yeah, you should still do the 10.2, which means I really shouldn't use nitrous right away. 10.8 lobby is kind of one of those weird lobbies where you could see 10.5 cars, but most of them should really be running anywhere from 10.8 to 10.6, with a lot of 10.7 guys. So it really depends on what you face in here. Let's take on a tougher challenge in SXR. This is a dyno beater, obviously. Again, late nitrous can push past dyno by at least 2-3 tenths. What's he raising a bet against me? Oh no, he's just slow. Okay, so tough car, newer player maybe, hopefully, who may not be as able to drive it as well. And let's see how we do. Here we go. A little slow, but it'll launch. Now you can launch early like this, or you can launch late with the super long gear. The main thing is, oh, here he comes. I'm going to lose this because I didn't get into 5th. But I just want to kind of see what lobby I'm in first. Let's see. 10.8. And that's probably better than what most people in this lobby is going to run. So now it's my turn to run a 10.8. That is my dyno, incidentally, so I can't run too much under it. I can run a 10.7 without getting a bump, but I really shouldn't be running 10.5s too much. So we'll have to see. All right, here we go. Remember, this car can do 10.2 if I really push it. I'm not going to push it. I am just going to run probably a 10.7 something or 10.6, high 10.6s. Okay, let's go ahead and get that done. So this time I'm going to go into 4th. Okay, and stay in 4th, and then go back to 3rd as we get to the end. Boom. That's a win. Keeping it tight. Always keep it tight. That's how you race these cars. 10.747 against a 10.772. All right. Now, once again, this is not a low performance point high evo setup. This is a high performance point low evo in the ratio. It's kind of mediocre actually, but much more bumpable overall. Let's take on another opponent in here, somebody who looks like they're racing not just for swaps, because I feel always kind of bad racing swappers when okay, not child safe. Okay, I'm not racing them. That's not child safe. Okay, all right, Kai. That's a safe name. All right, ready? Let's go ahead and take Kai on. Now remember, Kai is a high top speed car, much like the NSXR. So once again, I am going to have to be very careful to get enough of a lead like this before I slow down and watch him catch up really, really fast. Woo! Woo! That was close. Very close. Again, within a few hundreds. Little scary there. I thought he had me. Again, as you can see, 231 versus 311. He would have blew my doors off at the end there. But I got him by a hair. Okay? So, keeping the car in a winnable format, and my key earnings almost done. Let's go back to lobby, see what else we have from the Koenigsegg end of cars. Oh, wait, we have the Agera Rs, the final car, and my last 2 races, I think. It'll be perfect. Right here, the Agera Rs. This is already set up. Same problem with this car I have with the Gemera, which is, yes, I can get it to beat dyno like the 1-1, same strategy, but, you know, no turbo, kind of beating dyno. The problem is, it's very easy to bump this. When you don't have the Evo, you don't have the lobby advantage. And without the lobby advantage, the computer is going to be much more on top of you about, you know, if you run 2 tenths under, it could be goodbye time to the next lobby. So while it's a viable live racer in this format, a lot of live racers that can beat dyno, I don't use them simply because of this. Okay, if I have to put it that high up to get that much evo, and also to beat dyno, I'm giving up too much. I just don't feel too comfortable with that car at that point, because I know I have to run it a little harder than I would prefer half the time just to eke out a win, and then I'm going to get bumped and it would suck. So not exactly the way I prefer to have my cars. So again, the current matchmaking favors cars that have high evo, because some of the best cars now all run super high evo, and those are the ones you want to race in these live lobbies. Okay, I'm going to slow it down to keep the wind real tight. Same deal I always do. and I still had to run a 9.95. That's not so good. I have a 10.2 dyno. And if I got to run 9.9s, that means I'm already pushing more than 2/10. That is bump territory right there. I think this car's already bumped because this lobby shouldn't be that quick unless that Ferrari beats dyno by quite a substantial chunk here. Oh, Luca, blue, not the team I'm on. I'm on black, the newbie team. This is one of their higher earning teams. He probably don't even know who I am, but that's all right. We're going to go ahead and race him as the final race of the night. Okay, and I'm not giving up a win easily here. I'm going to watch him come. Oh, he got me. Whoops, slow down too early there. This car slows down pretty hard. So I have to, for my pride, I must take him back on. But again, I think I'm already bumped. This is definitely not the 10.2 lobby. This is a 10.1, 10.0 lobby with cars running 9.0s. So that means I'm going to have to just bump my car a little further this time and push it all the way. Let's off we go. Just not going to slow down, that's all. Okay, until the end. And there it is. All right, so again, it's controllable, but it's bumpable. So the Agera Rs is one that I don't quite prefer for that reason, because again, it's not that hard to get it bumped. Thank you there for the final race. And that is your list of Konigseggs. I might have missed one. I don't think I missed one. I think I got them all. But so that is the Absolute, the Jesko, the Regera, the Ghost Package Regera, the 1-1, and the Agera Rs. And we went ahead and raced them all. So that is your Koenigsegg live racing with the Super Car event cars. All the ones between the ones you could use to the ones you could win. That pretty much covers all the Konigseggs in the game. So how would I rate them? Top cars for live? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Kind of like that. That's the order I would put them as some of the best to worst live racers in the game. Although, depending on level of upgrade, this and these could be almost on par with each other. They're pretty close, but this is an old car, so a lot of players already know what it can do. These two are relatively new, although that's not new. This is new. But they run about the same way, and they're both very good. So if you see them in live, think about this, that the slower the lobby you're in and you face a Regera, the lesser the chance you're going to win. It's just because it has all kinds of favorable matchmaking, and it can beat dyno. It's just a great car in the lower lobbies, or the slower lobbies. Even in the 8 to 9 second lobbies, these guys are pretty deadly. But once you get beyond the point where they can get dyno beating set up, then really Jesko Absolute only shines fully maxed, which is not a lobby a lot of people do heads up racing in. That's almost all swapping. So you're not going to get a lot out of those guys. Most of those guys are in there with their own crew. They're doing massive points. They're not there to really, play with you. So, all right. And as far as looks are concerned and color combination for me, I'd love the little touches here on this car. It looks really cool overall. I don't like the wing, but everything else about it I kind of like. So this is probably my favorite Koenigsegg car in the game at this point, although my original and still major favorite is the Regera CSR edition. Well, thank you for joining me for this live racing exhibition of the Konigsegg Super Car Science cars. Feel free to comment. I know I didn't give you the setup and tunes. I will individually do some of those videos in the future, or you can hit me up on the chat, either on Messenger or on Line app, to talk about these cars if you want specific tunes. Once again, thank you for joining me. I hope you liked the video. Leave a like. Let me know you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this and want to get notifications. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.